Funding for Shaperless is provided by Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. 2021 was the year that the Sonic Frontiers trailer came out and nothing else. Oh, actually, never mind. There were, in fact, games this year. Nintendo Switch has games. Wow. Now, because of my tendinitis, I didn't get a chance to play a ton of PlayStation and Xbox games. I mostly just stuck to the Switch and it's comfortable to hold Joy-Cons. But I did pretty much get around to playing everything I actively wanted to play on all platforms, so I think we're good. A lot of solid stuff this year. I finally understand the appeal of Monkey Ball, so that was nice. New Jackbox was fun as usual, and my friends and I definitely got the most mileage out of Job in particular. Persona 5 Strikers was a really awesome series of cutscenes that I watched on YouTube because I couldn't get into the gameplay no matter how hard I tried. This was the year I finally played the original Ace Attorney trilogy, and it was amazing. So you'd think I'd also enjoy the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, but no, I did not, sadly. I was kinda bored. Except for Herlock Sholmes, he was amazing. Also, I only played through the first game in the package. I haven't gotten to the second one yet, and I hear that's the really good one, so like, maybe I'll talk about it next year, who knows. All I know is the first one in the package was kinda lame, and Trials and Tribulations has one of the best stories I've ever experienced in a video game, but it came out in 2004, so it can't be on this list. Tragedy. Speaking of old-ass games, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were the first time I've enjoyed a mainline Pokemon game in 10 years, but I don't feel comfortable ranking them on this list because they appear to be practically identical to the original without any substantial changes. Well, like, they were fun, I don't know. The only thing I didn't like was how these supposed to be dramatic cutscenes were ruined by these Playmobil-ass character models. Also, Skyward Sword HD was good, a lot better than the original Skyward Sword, but not quite good enough to make my list because at its core, it's still Skyward Sword. There's no cure for that. But I like the game. Go watch my hour-long video on it if you want more details. Miitopia is practically a new game because of how robust and insanely in-depth its new character creation tool is. And while it's fun to put random characters in precarious situations, gameplay-wise, it's like a 6 out of 10. I don't know. I still had fun putting this team together. I played like an hour of Mario Golf, and like an hour of Shin Megami Tensei 5, and like an hour of Kena Bridge of Spirits, and like an hour of No More Heroes 3, and like an hour of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and like 2 hours of Guardians of the Galaxy. They seemed fun. And I thought about putting Bowser's Fury on this list because it's a great package alongside 3D World, but I don't know, it kind of feels like more of a tech demo for the next 3D Mario, even if it is an extremely fun and well-made tech demo. Oh, also, Alba: A Wildlife Adventure is the cutest game ever, and you should definitely play it. It's really good. Speaking of really good, here's my top 8 games of 2020. Or was it 2021? I don't remember what fucking year it is. Let's go, lesbians, let's go. Kinda bug and kinda snack. It's new Pokemon Snap. This game is like if Bugsnax was a game where you took pictures and also all the Bugsnax were Pokemon, actually. I feel like everyone kind of forgot about this game as the year went on, which is a real shame considering how long people have wanted it and how damn good it is. The sweet serotonin I get from taking pictures of these Pokemon and finding new ways to get them to make poses with me cannot be overstated. The game looks insanely gorgeous from the Pokemon models to the environments, and there's so much variety here in the Pokemon they picked. I feel like it's not slanted towards any one gen, which is nice. It's a simple game, but it's extremely addictive and it works extremely well. And it even has Lotad, my beloved, the objectively best Pokemon to ever exist. Now that's what I'm talking about. Between this and Brilliant Diamonds, 2021 really was the year that got me back into Pokemon. Even though I still don't care about Legends Arceus and I probably won't pick it up. I don't know, maybe. Who cares? Let's just move on. Resident Evil 8, the one with the big booby vampire lady. This is the year I really got into this series. I mean, I played 2 Remake and 3 Remake before, with 2 Remake being one of my favorite games of all time, and 3 Remake being painfully average. But this year, I went ham with the series. I finally beat 4, I beat 7, I heard what everyone else had to say about 6 and said, haha, no thanks, and of course, I beat 8. Here's my ranking of all the Resident Evil games that I played. Wow. As you can see, 8 is smack dab in the middle. It isn't perfect. Ethan is about as charismatic as a block of wood, and his attempts at one-liners in this game are truly cringe. Heisenberg's factory went on for way too long. Jesse, we gotta kill Ethan, Jesse. Hey, yo, Mr. White, you gotta drive Megatron, bitch. And there were were a few other minor grievances here and there, but for the most part, this feels like a greatest hits medley of all the other Resident Evil games. But like, in a good way. There's a mansion where you're being stalked by a relentless hunter, the aforementioned big booby lady, which is similar to Mr. X and Nemesis from 2 and 3. There's a creepy village with creepy monsters and a funny shopkeeper man, just like 4. There's a big dumb action sequence towards the end to placate all 6 fans of Resident Evil 6. And this is definitely a satisfying continuation of Ethan's story for 7 fans. Plus, the returning first-person perspective really heightens the horror, especially in what is probably the most terrifying place I've ever been to in a video game, the House of Goop Baby. I actually can't remember the last time I was this on edge ever doing anything, so thank you for that, Goop Baby. Yeah, 8 is great. I think you'll get a lot out of it whether it's your first Resident Evil game, or your 5th, or your 8th. It's got a ton of variety, a ton of horror, a ton of fun, and it's a great homage to the rest of the series while also being its own distinct entity. Just don't get too attached to Big Booby Lady, she's not in it that much actually. A true crime if I've ever seen one. Number 6. I don't even know what to say about WarioWare Get It Together. It's motherfucking Wario, that should be all you need. WarioWare is just such a fun franchise. Its gameplay is so satisfying to go for high scores with, its characters are so endearing and deserve their own TV show. 5V is the definition of a MILF. I mean, nothing. I didn't say anything. WarioWare is awesome. It's such a fun concept to actually use these characters in the gameplay, even if some of them are massive pieces of shit to control and they keep fucking up my runs. Looking at you, 9V. I always go with the tried and true combo of Orbulon, Ashley, and Mike. Maybe I'll switch Mike out for Dribble, Red, or Master Mantis if I'm feeling funky, but otherwise, these are my mains. Orbulon just breaks the game, which is amazing. Penny is extremely hard to get the hang of, but once you do, it makes you feel alive. I like the one where you mash grapes together to make juice. I like the Pikmin 2 and 3 houses references. The boss fight for the culture pack sucks. It's so tedious and annoying. I don't even have a way to make my thoughts on this game coherent because it's WarioWare. It's supposed to be incoherent by design, so actually, I'm doing a good job at writing this segment by not having it flow together well. Play WarioWare, it's really good, even if I want to murder 9V for his crimes against gaming. Number 5. I actually just got around to Psychonauts 2 at the very end of the year, and oh my god, I'm so glad I squeezed it in. This game is amazing. I didn't get too far in the first game, but it seems like this one just cranks everything up to the next level. Just moving around is so fun because you have this rolling ball you can use to get anywhere. And that's just one of a ton of incredibly fun abilities at your disposal. And you use them to traverse some of the most creative levels I've seen in any video game. This game just rolls with the theme of the mind and people's psyche, and it uses them to craft such unforgettable areas. There's a hospital that got warped into a casino, where you do things like spin a roulette wheel in order for this couple to have a baby, or bet on yourself to win a race on a heart rate monitor. There's a level that's just a cooking show, and you have a limited time to boil and chop ingredients, who are all totally okay with getting mutilated in the pursuit of fine cuisine. There's a bowling-themed Neon City. There's a psychedelic road trip where you meet Jack Black and help get his band back together, and everyone in the band is one of the 5 senses because you're in the mind of someone experiencing sensory overload because they're dead, and you just took their brain and implanted them in the body of this guy who works in the mailroom. There's this part where you're just given a bunch of random words and you can connect 2 of them in someone's mind, and each possible pairing of words gives you a unique line of dialogue. I shit you not, I spent a literal hour just toying around with these words. This is one of the most creative games I've ever played. What brings it down a bit is the few stretches of time where the plot and your goals hit a bit of a lull. The boss fights aren't too impressive, and wow, there are too many cutscenes for a 3D platformer. It genuinely feels like half of the game is cutscenes, and they're fun and enjoyable, but man, they kinda needed to cut down on them a bit. I could just skip them, but I didn't want to miss the story, so instead I just sat the controller down for a way longer time than I wanted to. But this game is still extremely good and creative and wonderful. Please, please go play it. I'm begging you. And now, I'm gonna do what Raz does in this game and connect 2 different words with a random thought. Let's do square and space. Did you know that more astronauts come from Ohio than any other state because they want to get as far away from Ohio as possible? I guess that's because Ohio is filled with squares, and they want to get away from those squares by going to space. There we go. That's my thought connecting square and space. Hey, on a completely unrelated note, here's an ad for Squarespace. Squarespace is a fantastic, intuitive, online website builder that allows you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. Present your work using Squarespace's professional portfolio designs. Display projects in customizable galleries and add password-protected pages to share private works with clients. You can even present your videos from YouTube, Vimeo, and Animoto on your Squarespace site. Add an image overlay to your video to improve your website's load speed by waiting to embed video players until playback starts. Every design automatically includes a unique mobile presence that matches the overall style of your website, so your content will look great on every device, every time. And if you don't want that, you can always disable the mobile view from Website Manager. Buying a domain from Squarespace is so simple because there are no hidden fees or price hikes. Each domain comes with an ad-free parking page and free WHOIS privacy on eligible domains. Squarespace sells over 200 top-level domains, so you can find the perfect name for your website. Choose a URL that ends in .com, .net, .org, or you can always get a more specific one like .art if you want to be fancy. If you're ready to share your passions or promote your business with the rest of the world, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ShayFrillis to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Metroid has always been one of the weirdest Nintendo franchises to me. Not weird in the sense that the content of the games are actually weird, like with WarioWare. It's just the fact that this mature, quiet, intense, often brutal franchise came out of the Mario Company. It's always been an odd one out compared to their other franchises, and it seems like Nintendo agrees because despite how important it is to the realm of gaming, it's never really been given the same level of respect from the company as Mario or Zelda. But I think after Metroid Dread, there's no way Nintendo can deny its impact any longer. This game is Metroid operating at its fullest capacity. It's tense and atmospheric, but also action-packed and immensely satisfying to play. I'll fully admit a blasphemous fact about myself and say that I prefer the more linear, action-focused titles in the series like Fusion and Prime 3, since that's just what I like about this franchise, tearing shit up as Samus and not getting lost for hours on end and wondering where to go. As a result, this game isn't my all-time favorite in the series because I still got lost a few times and it was a tad frustrating. But I think this is in my top 3 because holy shit does this game have the best action in the series. This is the best Samus has ever felt to control, and the boss fights in this game are nothing short of incredible. I died at least 30 times on some of them, but each time I retried, I got a little better and made it a little farther into the fight. This game's incredibly difficult, but it never feels cheap. It always feels like it's possible to beat each obstacle sent your way. I also want to add that as a massive fan of Fusion, I was extremely satisfied with how this game followed up Fusion's events. I'm positively giddy that one of my favorite games of all time has now gotten a sequel 20 years later, and it's just about everything I could ask for. There are some problems. Like I said, I'm not a huge getting lost enjoyer, though I'm glad the people who like that sort of thing in a Metroid game have it back. The Emmys are intimidating at first, but kind of became annoying as the game went on. They don't nearly have the same horrific presence as the SAX. They're just irritating obstacles that are confined to certain areas, so it's never a surprise to see them. And while the story's mostly very intriguing, the ending's extremely rushed and confusing. Not really sure what happened there. But overall, it's so great to see a true return to form for Metroid. This game is phenomenal and a great way for newcomers and veterans to see what this series is all about. Yeah, that's right, I deadass just ranked Mario Party Superstars above Metroid Dread. What of it? This game is an actual miracle. I can't believe Nintendo actually listened to fans for once and brought back the good gameplay and the good boards that people fell in love with this franchise for. Even though Woody Woods is kinda jank, like how is anyone supposed to get anywhere on this board without a golden pipe? Come on. Yeah, the only real problem I have with this game is the fact that they only brought 5 boards in, and Woody Woods and Peach's Birthday Cake definitely weren't the best choices. I'm desperately hoping an update will come out of nowhere and give us some more boards. Choose Waluigi Island. It's more fun. Also Western Land, because I like the train. The train is epic. I'd also complain about the reduced character roster compared to Super Mario Party, but like, I only ever pick Waluigi anyways, so whatever. This game is fantastic. It's so much fun, and easily the best thing about it is how perfect the online is. Like, who are you and what have you done with Nintendo? There's practically no lag. The game autosaves after every turn. It's tremendous. I can't count the number of wild, incredibly fun games my friends and I have played over the past 3 months. The highlight of our games is whenever someone uses the warp block, because the results are almost always funny.
Yeah, 3. Woo, baby! Free! Yeah! Yeah! Do it! The plan works!
Henceforth, we have dubbed the warp block the funny. You can check out some of our games that we streamed on Space Chris 7's channel. It's a pretty good time. But yeah, it's so amazing to have that classic Mario Party magic back. From remastered versions of all-time classics like Spaceland and Horrorland, to the wide selection of solid minigames from across the entire series. I find it so hysterical how little there is from 8, 9, and 10. Now that's what I like to see. But it's even more hysterical that Mario Party The Top 100 has now been rendered completely useless, now that this game took the same concept and actually did it correctly. Great work, fam. Now, please do the same for Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Do an actual crossover where Fawful and Dimentio team up to take over the Tri-State area or whatever. Bring Alpha Dream back from the dead for this. You know you want to.
No! Why once again asking for your Chrome?
No!
I forgot about that fucker! No, I'm 3 coins short! Fuck you, Bernie Sanders!
Shortly after playing Undertale for the first time this year, I figured I'd give Deltarune a try. And, Chapter 1 really didn't grab me. It felt more like a pale imitation of Undertale with mediocre art direction and characters that weren't particularly interesting. The best part of Chapter 1 for me was easily just the ending, where you get to talk to all the characters you actually like from Undertale. Needless to say, I didn't really care about Chapter 2 when it was announced and subsequently released almost immediately, and I figured I could just get away with watching the cutscenes online and not actually playing it. Holy shit, I was wrong. Deltarune Chapter 2 is absurdly fantastic. Everything just clicked all of a sudden. The art direction and environments were so much more vibrant and alive. The characters, both returning and new, were so much funnier and had such better chemistry with each other. The gameplay, yeah, I turned the cutscene video off halfway through and decided I needed to play the game for myself. And yeah, the gameplay was so much more creative and varied. Some of the lines of dialogue in this game just don't feel real. Like, I can't believe a game could be this self-aware and this funny. Just the amount of imagination and ingenuity poured into this one chapter of the game absolutely floored me. I went from not giving a shit about Deltarune to fully believing that it has the potential to outdo Undertale in every way by the time it's complete. Hell, on its own, I think I actually prefer Deltarune Chapter 2 over Undertale. There wasn't a single part of this chapter that I disliked. It was all non-stop fun from beginning to end. I'm gonna remember Birdly, Noelle, Queen, the original Starwalker, Newbert, Spamton, motherfucking G Spamton, the whole gang for years to come. Do yourself a favor and play this game. It's free. Do you hear me, motherfucker? Free. And it's better than most $60 AAA games currently on the market. Amazing. But there is one game that I liked a little better. I don't even like first-person shooters that much as a genre, which is why I'm especially shocked to report that Deathloop is the best game I've played in years. It really just has some of the most satisfying gameplay I've ever experienced, and I think that all has to do with my personal preference for time loop stories. Reliving the same day again and again, trying to figure out the best way to optimize your time, this is the shit I live for in media. But I know what you're thinking, and no, this isn't quite the same as Majora's Mask. There's no persistent ticking clock or real-time strategy element here. It's just you having to choose what area to explore at 4 different times of the same day. Which is fine, since I suck at shooters anyway, and having to complete objectives in real time in this game would not be my forte. The truly amazing aspect of Deathloop is how freeing it is. After a few tutorial missions, you're basically let loose to complete any objective in any order. Go after any ability you want, like the teleporting power, which is the most fun method of traversal in any game I've played this year. Approach a mission stealthily and get some shadow stabby kills, or shoot your way through. It's up to you. There's an elaborate laser tag arena.
I love laser tag.
There's a huge party where you gotta unmask your target by learning his favorite beat and playing that so he unleashes his sick dance moves and reveals himself. There's a multiplayer mode where you can invade your friend's single-player timeline and try to hunt them down and murder them. That's so unbelievably awesome. The 60s aesthetic is a great touch. The dynamic between Colt and Juliana is pretty fun. I'll fully admit that I didn't really care for the story, and especially the ending, but man, when the gameplay is as extremely fun and immersive as it is, when you slowly gather enough information to figure out and manipulate every target's locations, when you line up those dominoes and finally knock them all down in a single run, that feeling of immense satisfaction cannot be overstated. I hate to agree with IGN because ew, but if I'm being honest, Deathloop is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. You gotta play this one, baby. It's on PC and PS5, which means for 99% of people, it's only on PC. But hopefully this timed exclusive nonsense will wear off soon enough and more people get to experience it. Good night, Tri-State area. I'm breaking this loop.
No, I'm breaking this loop.
Yeah.